And this shall be your ship. Now go. Destroy.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Lemontree Purple Potato. This is their take on a Shockwave, a G1-esque Shockwave. Might I call it Shockwave's Revenge? I did get this at Shozy. You could get yours there too. I'll have a link down below. So let's get right into taking a look at this Purple Potato. Here is the packaging and kind of a line work. Shows a line drawing of the ship, the side. It's like the side of him and then the other side of him on the back. And some line drawing of the ship. Kind of cool. This will be your ship. All right, let's take a look at these accessories. It does come with a display stand, which you kind of have to assemble, plug it all together like that. Pretty simple stuff. He has a couple of these pieces right here, and these will plug into the back when he's in his alt mode, or right here at the top of the engine. Not something I plan on doing right now. We'll do it at the end when it's transformed. He does get two of these laser guns, and the thing is, you can plug both in. I think it just feels like you get an extra. Really no need for that on both sides. I already did take the hand out, so you can take the hand out and it just unplugs. There's a plug right there. It unplugs and you plug it in. Very simple swap out right there. You do get two of these blast effects, and they come in two parts, and I plugged it together. Once I plug it together, I can't get it apart, but I don't intend to take it apart, so not a big deal there. We get these pieces here, which you actually have to kind of halfway transform the arm to get them plugged in, but it does plug in underneath the hand right there, and it's going to look really good when it's in the alt mode also. And then you get this little plug here. Now what this plug here is for it's for this hose, and I didn't really use it. I just kind of plugged it right there. I thought it looked better there but you're supposed to plug it into the hose like so, and then plug it into the bottom of the back. But I just like it like this, so I'm fine. I'm gonna display mine in alt mode the most, so I just shoved it right in there, and it worked for me for now. It's fine. The coolest accessory of all, which is weird, is a magnet. And what you're supposed to do is, once you got the batteries in his head and in the back of his engines, touch the magnet to the light, and it lights it up. Really interesting. I've never seen something like this. And a button is probably preferred by most people, but this is different. It's interesting, and it makes it a lot cleaner. You don't have a button at all to look at. In fact, it's like without knowing it lights up, you would know it would light up. All right, so let's take a good look at this figure. I think it looks really good. I like the color. First off, I like the purple. The purple looks amazing. To me, it's spot on with what I think Shockwave's color is. Again, Shockwave has slightly different colors depending on what episode of the show you are watching. The colors are slightly different, and with this we're going to see in comparisons what Takara did, what some other companies have done, and the G1 and all that. But I think this is perfect, so I love the color, first thing. Second of all, he has a lot of interesting look to him, and you could definitely tell it's Shockwave. In fact, I don't think it's the most G1 accurate Shockwave. It's definitely not, but you could put this on your MP shelf as a Shockwave. It looks nice. Now, material wise, I don't know if this is paint, because I don't think this is painted. This looks like it's just plastic all over. So, but it looks good. I mean, either way, it looks really nice. I know for pretty sure that this gray down here is just gray plastic. You do have sort of a translucent piece over here. You kind of see some interesting stuff. So it's a reminiscent sort of the toy, but kind of a modern take. Definitely interesting there. You do have some paint down here on the lower legs, and it kind of gives it some breakup to it. And kind of design-wise for a Shockwave, the legs are these are a bit too wide. But again, it turns into a ship, not a gun. It's a whole different story, a whole different ballgame. Let's get a look at a little bit of his articulation, which he has quite a bit of articulation. Head side to side, up, down. It's on a ball joint. You can get all kinds of looks out of that head however you want. And then the shoulder, not ratcheted out, but you can get way past the 90 on that. And then it's tight ratchet, which you could get the 360 out of it if you didn't have this in the way in the back. Then you have the bicep rotation, double jointed elbows. So this is probably the most well articulated figure and the most articulate. And let's go ahead and look at this hand here. I still have a hand on this side. The hands are pretty nice. You do get a swivel. You do get a ball jointed thumb that sort of works, and it's got a joint right here, so that works too. You do have independently articulated fingers. They feel very, very flimsy though. Let's see if I can get that splay on there. They look very flimsy, but you do get 1, 2, 3 points of articulation. 2 points of articulation each. Anyway, it does feel like it's all you need, and he isn't going to be gripping a gun or anything, so there's none of that stuff mixed in for his hands. Looking at his waist, he has an ab crunch, and it can be extreme, and it does sort of break the sculpt. It's kind of reminiscent of what Magic Square did with their Prime and their ab crunch there, and side to side and all of that. You do have some range. 90 to the front, 90 to the back. I think it's pretty close to 90 to the front, 90 to the back. You ratcheted out to the side, pretty strong ratchet out to the side, and then you have, it's a kind of a universal, but at the same time, you have the knee. So you got quite a bit of range there. 90 at the knee, not double jointed at the knee, which I don't think is really that necessary. And then you kind of have everything you need at the ankle, and it does kind of double. Let's get that frame there. At the ankle, you can kind of go double both ways. Plug that back in. So it's got a lot of articulation, a lot more than I expected. So kind of good coming out of first release. Okay, let's do some quick comparisons. I want to start with comparing him to Magic Square. I really feel like he's got similar type of a feel to him as Magic Square. The plastic feels very similar to me, and the finish feels very similar to me. And the fact that he has that waist part where you see Magic Square and he's got that kind of waist thing. I mean, it's part of the transformation, but it just feels so similar to me that the design element in that just is so similar. Kind of interesting. Let's see what he looks like next to some Shockwaves. Here he is next to the G1 Shockwave, and I actually thought the colors were a little closer than this, but I still really like that color. It is a very nice color on the purple potato. Lemontree did a good job with that, so I like it. Let's see how he stacks up design-wise next to Takara and Cloud9. Here he is next to Takara on the left and Cloud9 over here. And this is not the black one, this is actually the purple. So that's how deep of a purple Cloud9 went with theirs. I really think this purple nails it. It's the best looking purple out there. I think it's really close to what Takara did with their plus one, so that's kind of, maybe that's where they copied the color from the plus, but there it is. And just in case you want to display him next to Megatron, there he is next to the Takara MP36 Megatron. And I did have to fix his shoulder. I did kind of have it crazy adjusted because of a pose, but anyway, that's how they look together. Looks pretty good. All right, so let's get this guy transformed up. Let's just take a couple of accessories off of here. I'm going to take this hose off. I'm going to take this piece off. You could put the hand on there. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to just leave the hand off. So I'm going to start out transforming this guy by doing the arms first. And I guess we could do the arm with no hand first. But we're going to lift down on that. And then up on this piece. No, down on that one too. Moves up and around, and then you'd flip the hand around, and we'll see on the other one exactly how that's going to go. And then this little piece here comes out. Tuck that in, fold that in, and make it one unit. We're going to straighten it, turn it, and extend it like so. And then lift up on this tab here. We're gonna, that's one arm sort of done. Next, let's do this arm over here. You can leave this on if you'd like. Let's go ahead and tuck that in for now. And I will have to put that on the other side here in just a bit. But So, folding this out, down, out, like so. Open this little connector, kind of his elbow piece, put that in, fold that down. Let's flatten that. It fit just right on the other side, okay. Now, over here, we want to make sure that the hand is flat when we fold it around, and that's good and simple. Now, you see how I already have this installed? You kind of have to have the hand halfway, like so, when you install this piece. Let me grab the other piece. Here it is, and we're going to install that. And then it's going to be held in place by the position of the hand. Like so. There it is. All right. So we got this like that. This one like this. Pull that down. Now we're going to need to open this tab up here so we can get it positioned lower. And we're going to open these panels. This panel over here. And then fold this down like so. And we're going to move this forward. Now, there is kind of right here, we have to slide the arms, shoulders down. And it's just like so. And you got to get it in the right spot. So, not a huge deal. Seems like people make a big deal about these shoulders. You just slide them and kind of wiggle as you slide, and that's how you get that effect. Now we're going to combine this here. Keep that open. Keep that open. All that open. And we have to wiggle this shoulder down into place, but it's on a kind of a double joint. Here's a better look at it. This is kind of how it's supposed to be. And get the other side in there just right, and then line it all up, and then start tabbing it in, like so. And let's go ahead and keep this inside for now. And so we sort of have the front done. We're going to close this up and this up, and then just make sure this is all seated in there properly. And these two should tab together. It's just having it all lined up. You got tabs all in here to hold that in place. There it goes. Now we're going to lift up on this back piece to disconnect it. And then we can lift all this up magic square. It's kind of like a half magic square. You also have this that comes up too. So it's kind of interesting. Okay, anyway, we're gonna fold this piece back, open this up, fold this down into here, and then that's gonna cover that whole area, and it seals up nicely. So we're coming along, but we do have to get this tab here out, as I did not do that, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll do that on both sides. It's not wanting to come out for me. There it is. Oh, get it on the other side too. There it goes. And that's all nice and clean. All right, so we got to focus on this inside here, and we're going to lift these pieces up, and then we are going to fold these down, and we're going to extend this all out. So it's going to line up with that, basically, is the whole point of it. And the bottom piece is sort of a filler, like a bottom filler. And then this is going to come up, and this is all going to connect. Well, sort of. This is purely just a filler piece like that. So see if we can get it to hold in together, but not really so much. Now we can separate this piece here. Okay, so getting this apart took a little bit of doing. So we're gonna kind of get this out of the way here. And this keeps falling down. I'm just gonna let it do what it does. Okay, now we can rotate this around and we can start working on the legs and stuff. So got that like so. And let's get the flaps out of the way for now. They're not really flaps, they're just the leg pieces. There we go, those are out of the way. The whole goal here next is to move this whole armature piece to where we have it looking like a ship. So like this is going this direction, and this needs to come up, and it needs to look like a ship, basically. It's like you got to get an idea of how is it going to look, and that's how it's going to look. So it kind of keeps it in mind, like what are we doing, where are we going to next? We are going to make the back of this. So it makes a little bit more sense if you think about it like that. And of course this keeps flopping down on me, so not a big deal. So let's turn around to the back, and from the back we're going to need to do some work on this for sure. We're going to open these up, and we need to get this around and kind of clear this area here and take everything out of the inside here. It's all going to have to go. It's got to go, it's got to go, it's got to go. All right, now the foot is interesting because you have to actually rotate it around, and then you rotate it around again to be on the inside here. And it's got some pretty hard ratchets because of course it is the feet. Turn that ratchet inside, and then fold it in to where it's in place. There it is. Kind of a strange sort of situation there. This is going to form that. You're going to turn it to the outside and then fold this piece down. This is going to fold around. Like so. One thing about this is you have to make sure this piece is up when you're collapsing this in, so it'll have its clearance and nothing breaks or anything like that. So that's a very important part of this. That keeps flopping down. I don't know why I can't keep that in place well, but anyway, it's starting to take shape, starting to take form. Let's get the other leg here done. And so we do the same thing and disconnect this, bring all these pieces out like so. This is going to go upside in here. And now with one leg done, it kind of creates a bit of a clearance issue. So we're going to do it just slightly different the second go around. Now, same thing with the foot over here, doing this whole rotation bit and then rotating it in to the inside here. And just make sure it's going to fit. Yes, it's going to fit. Then what we're going to do is rotate. That stays static actually. And rotate on the knee. There it goes. And it's going to be a whole lot easier to get this out of the way. ball joint just popped off. Okay. Make sure everything's lined up. This piece is out of the way. This is going to be lifted up. And we're going to fold it all in. Like so. Do I have the clearance for everything? So this ball joint came out on me and it just simply plugs back in. I think I've got it orientated properly, so we'll find out here in just a second. So then we're going to finish closing this up, and it seems to all be lining up okay. It's going to tab into here, and then it's going to tab in up top. Let me make sure. Looks like, let me pull this back out. Looks like the leg has to be exactly right. So you have this swivel here, and it has to be exactly lined up just right. On both sides, by the way, not just one, for it to collapse properly. And I'm gonna keep messing with that, but that's gonna be the problem with this, getting it lined up just right. I know a lot of people are having trouble with it aligning just right, and that is part of it because of all the high level of articulation that it has. So getting everything lined up just right so it collapses just right. And here we go. It's almost there. Almost there. Really close. And then we start working on this back part. I think everything's lined up just right. So one thing that's really going to help hold this together is, before we get to the back, these notches and then these pieces that just came together. Not only is it going to hold it together for itself, it's going to hold it together front and the back together. So let's make sure all these pieces are aligned, and then we'll get those tabbed in. And that should help with the stability a bit. And then another thing that's going to help us is we're going to go ahead and install the stand at this point. The stand's going to go into these notches, so we need to get this lined up. Right here. Let's go ahead and get the stand over here. And here it is. Let's put the stand in these notches. And then there it goes. Bump the camera. Tighten this up, and we can start working on the back part. Get these wings, and you want to lock that in place and then follow the natural curve. Sure, put this out, and then same thing on the other side. Put this out. And I'm going to play with it a little bit more. Thing is, if I can do it, you can do it, right? Think of it like that. Man, if Mike can do it, anyone can do it. There it is. I'm gonna add on all the parts and pieces and stuff and see if I can get it just a little bit tighter, then we'll have a look at it. So after spending a few minutes just tightening everything up, I noticed that I didn't tuck these pieces in, which isn't really a big deal, and that really explains why I had so much trouble with the back end. So that's all my fault. But anyway, just tuck them in, kind of point them to the center, and then the whole back end is so much easier now that you have those out of the way, and tabbing everything in will be so much more simple than it was before. So that's a big plus. I do want this mode to look perfect, so I am going to mess with it to make it look perfect, because this will be the mode I display it. And I think it's really important that if you're going to display it in this mode, you want it perfect, you need it to be perfect. So take the extra time to make every panel fit just right so it looks good on your shelf the way you want it. And I'll put all the parts on and we'll look at it. So here it is in the ship mode, and I think it looks great. It actually looks fantastic. I really do like this mode. And again, I want every tab to be perfect. And it will. It will tab in perfect. It just takes a bit of fiddling with it. It is a little bit fiddly, but once you get it in place, it stays in place. I think that it just looks good. I love the purple. Some of this, like, you get the right angle for this, and then it just kind of bumps. You bump it, and it kind of loses that angle, but here it is from, let's take it down a notch from the back. And that part there worked out really well in the end. And these light up with the magnet. You just touch it with the magnet. So really just an awesome, awesome looking ship. This could not have come at a better time. I just got my shipping notification for my HasLab, which is what I'm going to display it next to. If you have a HasLab, or you have the Studio Cell, or even the Armada version of Unicron, I think it would look good next to it, especially when it's transformed up. So this is going to see another take here in a little bit when we do Unicron. We're going to do the HasLab Unicron. We're going to see this again. It's going to come back out, and of course I'm going to see it every day on my shelf, but it looks really good, and I like it. Here he is next to a Hot Rod, and here he is next to the McFadden's Toys Galvatron. Think that, look how long that is. And pretty much everyone knows what a Masterpiece car, the length of a Masterpiece car, so it's double the length of a Masterpiece car. It is a pretty big ship. Yes, it's not going to scale with HasLab, or definitely won't scale with the Studio Cell. But then again, when you start getting into bigger stuff like Unicron, or even a ship that all these guys fly in, nothing's going to scale right. So it is really cool to have it. It'd be cool to have a miniature of it also, or even in the Legend scale, but I like it. It's awesome. So this has been the Lemon Tree Purple Potato, the Revenge. It's Shockwave's Revenge. You're not going to see the last of this ship. You're going to see it a lot more in some of my upcoming videos. I think it's really cool. It's not the most G1 in bot mode. It's definitely not going to be tune accurate, but you could tell it's Shockwave. It does look pretty cool. I like the color of it. If you want to get this color of a Shockwave for the best price, I got mine at Shozy. You can get yours at Shozy also. I'll have a link down below. Like, subscribe. Let me know if you're getting this. Let me know what you think about this. Titanium Hanger out.